Hello. we An error occurred and we weren't going to go live. And a very good morning to you. Yes, a very good morning to you. We are just that's behind me. That's the White Hart Hotel in Lewis, and that's where we're broadcasting from today. We do every morning between 9 and between 9:30 actually, or 8:30 and 11:30. But this first hour is normally taken up with just taking a look at the newspapers and seeing what on earth is going on. So what we're doing at the moment is seeing if we can possibly find ourselves, so we can make sure that things are going all right. But we don't seem to be coming through on that just yet. So we'll try again in a moment. Yes, good morning. And apart from us broadcasting from the White Hart, we got a decent signal for us. A change. That's great. We should tell you that it is the 21st day, Tuesday, the 21st day of June 2022. The time is 8:34. And outside, we're going to get a rather nice glow because it's going to be about 23, 24 today with a gentle breeze, no rain, not even overcast sky. It's going to be fairly clear. And looking outside, I can see that the high street is even now beginning to light up with the sunshine. And it's rather nice looking out at the high street during the sunshine. Now, I like, before we actually get into the rough stuff, to play what I consider is our version of the Potter's Wheel. And if you don't know what the Potter's Wheel is, look it up, because that'll take you back to the days of early television. Well, we're having some problems finding ourselves this morning. Don't ask me why. And it would be very nice if we could find ourselves and just take a view of whether we're getting through to you or not. Still, we'll have to live on faith at the moment, and hope that that you are seeing us. Now, we just took a very nice, gentle trip down to the Grange Park on Southover. And here's my biscuit, which I didn't have time to have earlier. And my coffee, which Jane brought to me earlier. I got an extra biscuit this morning because the milk was off on the very first one. And there we are. That's the way it is here in the White Hart. I always feel very comfortable in the White Hart. First of all, magnificent staff. Secondly, magnificent surroundings, very historic. And thirdly, the whole idea of Mirador is passing by television. Anybody can drop in. And indeed, people do. We had a lovely drop in yesterday. A lady who's promoting a musical play, I suppose it would be called, at St. Michael's Church. I bumped into Father David Broad, who is the priest in charge of St. Michael's. A very nice man, and he spotted me at the bus stop and stopped and said hello, even though I've been very naughty and I haven't been to church for a little while. But he was sympathetic to the fact that I'm not 100% at the moment. Oh, dear, no. I'm not. Now, should we find something here? No, it's not there. Never mind. We're not going to bother you with our little technical problems of seeing ourselves. I just hope that you're able to pick us up wherever you are, and particularly if you're a regular viewer. Now, let's take a look at the headlines, which sometimes is a bit difficult, I'm afraid. Newspaper headlines: Britain runs into buffers as the PM inflames the rail dispute. Britain runs into the buffers is the headline in the Times, in which the BBC collation chose to lead with the first newspaper. And it says that the rail strikes dominate almost all of today's front pages. Britain runs into the buffers is a Times headline, as it reports that more than 50,000 RMT union members will walk out, and presumably have. The pictures being shown on other television services this morning, directly from the stations, show virtually empty stations. And who knows how many trains are going to run today, if any. Is it worth turning up? Well, I suppose, depending on how important it is that you get from point A to point B, it's worth going to see what's running and what's not. But as usual, there is usual problems, and no, we are not showing up. So I can't actually take a look to see how we are. But I hope that we're delivering a decent picture to you. And welcome to our program. It is now 8:41. Would you believe? It's amazing how the time flies when you're having fun. All right, let's go on to The Guardian. The PM inflames rail dispute with strikebreaker threat. Oh, dear. You can't have that. That is very anti-liberal. So The Guardian is reflecting that. And the fact is that he is, I think, trying to pull a Thatcher and making the rail unions the focus of his battle. One or the other will lose. But, much as people think that Boris is a buffoon, don't underestimate the man. He's shown a remarkable toughness with the things he's had to face. The things he's had to face as a new prime minister. And I think that he's done a remarkable job. That doesn't mean to say I'm a great supporter. I understand his weaknesses and so on. But the fact is, I'm not losing sight of the fact that he has done a remarkable job, and he has done a remarkable job. And all his critics can point to him doing this, and doing that. But all in all, for a horrendous world, and it is a horrendous world, he hasn't done such a bad job. And while I will look at newspapers and people quoted as being critical of what's happening, is I think that sometimes they've got to temper who is at fault. And 9 times out of 10, if you really look back, it's us, the general public, the way that we've actually farted around and got fat and sassy. And we always wanted, we've been like, Mummy at the pram. Mummy, what do you want, dear? I don't know. But I thought that I would actually cover first anyway, right? The Daily Mail: strikes are a £1 billion lockdown for Britain. And the Mail points out that we're back to a lockdown situation, that it's going to cost £1 billion to the economy. And in fact, I'm sure there's much more than that, because it's also reported that just to the hospitality industry, the foodies and the drinkies and the holiday people, is we're going to lose £1 billion from that. So not a bad not a bad assessment of where we're going. The Daily Telegraph. The Daily Telegraph. The unions are harming those they are meant to help. That's a quote from the Prime Minister. And the Telegraph says the Prime Minister has accused trade unions of harming the very people they claim to be helping, as Britain braces for the biggest rail strike in 30 years. Johnson has rejected demands for a 7% pay rise and dismissed suggestions that could be paid through fares. The cost could be picked up by an increase in fares, really. And he says no, and quite rightly so. I think that would be something that really blow the lid off. The Daily Express, normally a paper that looks after the government or supports the government, and it quotes Boris: "Time for sensible pay deals to ease the cost crisis." So the Express says Johnson has warned that the rail strike risks harming the whole nation, and he's called for sensible pay deals to ease the cost crisis. Metro is all going a bit loco. They major on the rail strike. Mick Lynch of the Transport Workers Union says the strikes will run until we get a settlement that's acceptable to our members. In other words, I keep saying no until you agree. And it's an old technique. It's an old way of getting your own way. But is it right in this particular situation? Financial Times: the business fears rail strike costs as the prospect grows of more walkouts. So the Financial Times is worried about the plague, as it was called yesterday, or the domino effect. One union goes on, and then yesterday, as I recall, it was the teachers' union and the doctors' union, if there is a doctors' union, but certainly health workers who were talking about going on strike in sympathy, and many more smaller operations are beginning to pick up the ball and run with it, on the basis that this is going to be the best time that they'll ever have to get part of an organized strike, because they run off the coattails of the other bigger unions. Right. The Mirror: planes crisis, trains crisis, automobiles crisis. That was its headline. And it reports that thousands of flights are being cancelled this week. And the paper quotes Labour Transport Secretary Grant Shapps as saying, "I haven't, I haven't lifted a finger to resolve the matter." I must say that Grant Shapps has not always been my cup of tea either, but whether he's that bad as the unions make out, I have no idea. The Daily Star. Don't panic, but they've just put the man with no brain in charge of the country. Not getting as bad as I am. They are saying Grant Shapps, sorry, not Grant Shapps, Dominique Raab is going to be in charge of the country while Boris has a minor operation. I say, God help us, he couldn't leave anything. You have to be decide on your own whether you agree with that or not. But that's the Star, which normally doesn't venture into politics, but there it is. The I, number 10, plans to tear up the limits on city bosses' pay. And there is some suggestion that Boris is very cautious about this because he doesn't want to appear to be favouring one sector of the society. I think, personally, that if there is a cap on executive pay, and I didn't know there was, but if there is a cap, then I think it should stay because there are too many people and too many companies that are not earning their corn. And that's down eventually to the leader, the chief executive. And if chief executives are going to be rewarded for poor responsibility, poor delivery, then we really have got a worry. That's more or less it from the papers. Let us take a look at what we what we keep in the background to take a look at. Well, let's see. It just doesn't. Well, daily programs. We could take a look there, I think. Well, yeah, we haven't played this for a little while, and it's an interesting way of looking at the town. There we go. There's our Lewis, and this is as seen from the air. Well, there we are. Yeah, we must add a little bit of sound to that. The fact that it's silent at the moment detracts from it, I think, rather than attracts to it. It is now 8:52. It is 6 minutes to 8 minutes to 9 o'clock, and time that you should all be rocking and rolling, I think. And it's just not good enough lying in bed there. The talk this morning, of course, is all about the rail. But when I first get up, I make sure that I check the opposition. We have gone. Are we back? Are we back, and are we moving properly? Let's see. No, we're not working properly. So I think what we might do is we might just take a break at this stage as it's coming out to 9 o'clock. Go back and tickle the computer bits and hope that we will be in a better position to bring you various correspondence and so on as the morning progresses. So for the moment, let's say toodle pip.